Hey everyone. I just wanted to tell people this new song that I made up for myself to calm myself down when I feel like I'm gonna reconnect with someone who I know is bad for me, or reconnect with an ex, or go towards someone who was very ungrateful or cruel to me for no reason. To counter the guilt I feel, because I'm a very kind person and I sometimes feel guilty even leaving behind people who are mean to me. Like if I really loved and cared about you as a friend, as just caring about another human being. I'm not even talking about romantically. Obviously, if someone was your boyfriend or your husband, it would be hard to leave them. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about if we were just trying to build a friendship, even, or just even being two supportive human beings to each other. I'm not even trying to label it. I just wanted to be a good human being to other human beings. That's what I'm talking about. So I literally have to sing to myself the words, that ain't none of my effing business. So when I'm thinking, but I could help them, find a new job, I could help them write up a resume or a CV, I could help them find a sober coach or free Alcoholics Anonymous or substance abuse counseling or whatever they need. I can help them with grief counseling. I can just let them talk to me about their problems and be a understanding ear. I won't judge, I'll just listen. But when they spit all that kindness back in your face, and when you tell them your pain and what hurts you and they use it against you and then laugh at your pain, that is unacceptable and that I cannot tolerate. So in order to dissolve all the guilt that you feel, that you shouldn't even feel guilty for walking away from people who enjoy hurting you, because there's something wrong with them. If they've got a personality disorder that compels them to hurt you, they're never going to be able to change. Even if they wanted to, they're always going to be compelled to hurt you. And they need to get counseling, and they need to get it quick. And if they're not even willing to get counseling, then they're going to keep repeating the same cycle. They're going to go towards the bad people who will use them and abuse them, and then they will push away the good people who would have helped them, who would have always been loyal to them. That's just going to be the pattern they will repeat. So, a fun thing I was coming up with that I noticed some of my friends thought was funny, that's why I was going to say it on here, is that I just started singing like around my friends. Like when I would get the thought in my head of, oh, I feel bad, I lashed out in anger when that person mistreated me or ignored me on purpose to ghost me after I'd been so kind to them. But I know they're doing it on purpose. Like they admitted this, they made it obvious. And they've admitted in the past that, oh, when I want people to chase me and get obsessed with me, I ghost them and I ignore them. I give them tiniest bit of attention and then I disappear. Like this is something they actively have admitted um, in live streams to me, to other people, that they have a toxic, repetitive pattern of doing this to people. And what's weird is that if you're doing it to people you fancy, why are you doing it to me? I'm just your friend. You're not in a romantic space with me. So why are you doing it to me? But because I'm a woman, and they seem to hate women because women have been the issue in their life who have hurt them. I mean, I've had terrible things done to me by men. I don't hate all men. I won't blame a new man for something that a past person did to me. I will just keep my guard up because I need to make sure you're not a bad one. But it's not okay to take out your anger on people who didn't hurt you and just cause trouble between you and them for no reason, because then that makes you just as bad as your ex who hurt you, who you say is wrong. So anyway, this is what I'd been doing. Like when the guilt would pop into my head and I'd feel down and a bit sad, I would start singing, but in a kind of like, I can't sing, so my voice is very croaky. I'm not the best singer, but I enjoy singing. If my favorite song comes on, it makes me happy. I just can't help singing. So I was thinking of like how like in America, the African American people have such soulful, beautiful voices and all the harmonies and kind of like Boys to Men type voice, or Mariah Carey is part. African American, even though her dad is like a mixed race person, but they call her dad black, even though he's technically mixed race. That's why she's so pale. Because I have friends who have a mixed race parent who is part black, part white, and then their other parent is full white, and then they look almost white, like blue eyes, blonde hair, but yet their dad is looking like Beyonce or something. So anyway, so I'm thinking of those harmony type voices, like, and then so I just start singing this. So I was like, so it's gonna sound crap from my voice, but imagine if Mariah Carey was singing this. So it's just like if I feel the guilt about walking away, choosing my self-respect, and saying no, you won't cross my boundaries again. I already let you get away with so much because I cared about you, but I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Putting my foot down, and this is enough. You had enough chances, and you took the mick, you took the piss. So now I'm walking. So anyway, so I was just saying these words, like, so I'd be saying, um, that ain't none of my effing business. That ain't none of my effing business. So that's what I kept repeating to myself, just like I'd feel this overwhelming guilt, and then I just have to like lighten the mood and just start saying, that ain't none of my effing business. That ain't none of my effing business. And then I remember just thinking like, this is so fun. Like just saying this to myself is making me laugh and making me forget I even felt guilty. Now, that's not meaning that I didn't care about the friends and the people I was trying to support. Of course I did. But at the same time, I'm not going to lose my mind and have a mental breakdown over people who don't even look back and care about me, don't even notice I'm gone because you were ignoring me for no reason. Anytime you needed me, I was there. But then I have one request, I have a terrible day and I'm thinking, let me speak to my friend. And you make it obvious you're ignoring me. And if you didn't want to talk, you could have just answered the phone and said, I'm sorry, I can't talk. But the fact is, you are like a vampire or a parasite or a leech who will suck all the goodness out of me. And then when I'm down and out, I can't even get anything from you, not even, oh, I'm sorry that's happening to you. Like, I've never heard this person say thank you before. They're so ungrateful and rude. You'd be telling them lovely, kind comments, you'd be lifting them up, you'd be encouraging them. And I've never once heard them say thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you for anything. They will accuse you of lying. If you say, hey, I'm really proud of you, you got a new job, that's great. That's amazing. Good for you. Well done. I hope it goes well. Why are you lying? You don't hope anything goes well for me. Okay, why are you making up what you think I think? Why am I not allowed to be a good, decent, honest person? But because they've been exposed to bad, horrible people, then it's like they just assume everyone's like that. Well, why are you talking to me then? If you think I'm such a terrible person and I'm lying to you, every word I say is a lie. Why didn't you block me? Why did you even add me to have contact with me? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like the things we've gone through in the past. Hate those people. They deserve your hate. What have I done to you? But be supportive and kind when everyone else was horrible to you. I was the only one defending you. People I didn't even like were telling me, why are you defending that person? They were so mean and so cruel, saying this person is not worth your time. You're such a cool person, even though we don't get on all the time. That person's gonna use you up. And I'm like, leave him alone. Don't talk to him like that. Don't talk about him like that. But I'm sad to say that this is exactly what happened. The person did use up my kindness, leech off my kindness, make sure that they always got what they needed, as in verbally, encouraged, verbally lifted up, emotionally encouraged, emotionally, and then they would sort of spit it in your face. They wouldn't even thank you for it. They didn't want you to know you were doing something good or you were getting through to them in a positive way. And in my opinion, they truly do have narcissistic personality disorder. a severe one caused by their trauma. And it's sad because, they're never going to be able to change. That sort of disorder cannot be easily cured. You can go to counseling and you'll be made self aware. So when they have the urge and the compulsion to hurt someone or say something nasty, the counseling can kind of make them think and stop and think, but they'll still have the urge to do it, and unless they're willing to fight against that urge, they're not going to change. If they are okay with being bad, they're okay with repeating these cycles because they won't admit there's something wrong. I'm hurting people. I enjoy hurting people. There's something wrong. I have to change. I have to get help to change. If they're not willing to do any of that, then what can be done? If someone, like they say, you can take a what do they say? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You know, it's like with me, if I don't want to change, no one can make me change. Only I can make me change. I'm a very strong willed. People call it stubborn, but I call it strong willed because I'm not being stubborn just to be difficult. If I stick to my opinions, it's because I know that what I'm saying is correct and I'm saying it for the greater good. I'm not saying it for selfish reasons. I'm not saying it for personal gain. You know what I mean? So it's like there are so many people out there who they have bad intentions, and when they challenge you, they want to cross your boundaries. And when you put your foot down and say no, and I'm not budging on this, you will not cross my boundary again. Understand? They are only mad because they used to benefit from you letting them overstep your boundary and then kick the boundary out of the way entirely. People don't realize that the only reason they got away with stuff is because I let them, not because I was stupid, not because I didn't see what was going on, because the guilt I felt about abandoning them, because in my mind, I'm abandoning you if I leave the friendship, even though you're mistreating me. And I keep trying to save the friendship by saying, if you keep mistreating me, I will have to leave. But they're acting like, no, you won't, you'll never leave. And then obviously, I make them think that by pulling away and then coming back because of guilt, pulling away and then coming back because of love and guilt and caring about them as a human being. When I say love, I don't mean romantic love. I'm talking about, in this particular situation, it's a person, not a love situation. It's like a friend trying to build a friendship. But yeah, it's very, very sad that people don't accept good people as they are. They want to force you to change. And it's like, well, I'm already kind and good and giving. Why are you trying to force me to be like some submissive robot idiot? Like, why can't I just be myself and you don't take advantage of it? How about that? But it's like they demand you accept them as they are with their bad behavior. They demand it. They're like, this is how I am, take it or leave it. Okay, I'll leave it. No, don't go. Please don't go. Okay, I won't go. But I'm not going to treat you better. Oh, God, what is this? And you're just confused, like, what is this? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, am I on another planet and you're on another planet? Because in my mind, why aren't we just being normal? Why aren't we having normal interactions? If you interact with someone who has just got a few issues but no personality disorder, you can reach them. They don't want to hurt you and you don't want to hurt them. They might have a defense mechanism that makes them pull away from you a little bit, but then you can still reach them. But people, sadly, who have been through so much trauma that the trauma broke their mind, split their mind in half, now they're Jekyll and Hyde. Sadly, those people, I don't know if they can really be saved. I wish it was as easy as just taking them to counseling. But if you have a genuine mental health issue or a genuine personality disorder, there isn't much counseling can even do for them. It can allow them to have a space to speak about their feelings. But if they're not willing to look at their own problems and change the behavior that is negative, the patterns will continue. They won't admit there's a problem. And they will just keep getting used by opportunists and cruel people who will feed their addictions so that it keeps them weak, so that they're easier to handle. I mean, I remember there was a man I met when I went up to Scotland. So I live in London, and years ago, I went up to Scotland to do some job training for something specific. And so I went up there, and then I was bored in my hotel. I didn't know anyone, and I was bored just sitting in the hotel after the training watching TV in the evening. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to the cinema. But the cinema was really expensive, like way more than London, because Edinburgh's kind of a really touristy town. It's very small, but it has large history, like way back, just like London and England has history, thousands of years of history, and documented history. And when I was like wandering around, like, oh, the cinema's too expensive. I had something to eat, but I was by myself, so it was a bit boring. I was like, oh, I'm so bored. I wish I could just meet someone to chat to, just anyone. Like, so I'm thinking, is there any touristy bars where I can go? So I accidentally walk into what I thought was a tourist pub, but it wasn't. It was opposite my hotel, but it was a local pub. So I walk in, and I'm multiracial. I'm pretty big and tall. I'm like nearly 6 foot tall. For a woman, that's pretty tall. But I'm slim and feminine looking, but I'm very tall. So people always look down at my feet to see if I'm wearing high heels. And then they're like, whoa, you're not even wearing high heels. So I walk into this pub, and it's on the main road. So I'm thinking, well, it's not round some back alley on some scruffy, in some scruffy neighborhood. It's in the main bit, but it's like the touristy bit is the residential bit, if you know what I mean. Like the locals live in that bit where all the tourists go. So you can't really separate the tourists from the local Scottish people who are born there and live there and work there in Edinburgh. So I walk in, I got like knee-high Doc Martin boots that I used to love to wear back then, kind of shiny, black, kind of like a dominatrix, but I wasn't a dominatrix. But I think I'd be really good at that. I got a good right hook. If you want me to punch you, give me some money. Yeah, that sounds good. You're not going to fight me back. Like, it's not like a boxing match or MMA fighting or whatever they call it. UFC, what is it when the men are kickboxing or whatever? But yes, I think I won't bother with the dominatrix thing, because these people, are they turned on by getting punched in the face, which that seems creepy to me. But yeah, so then I went in the pub, and I opened the door, and it was like a scene from a Wild West film where the whole pub turned and looked at me, and it was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, and so I just pretended like I didn't notice that the whole pub stopped and looked at me, because I'm obviously a stranger. I'm not looking like them. I'm wearing big, dominatrix looking boots, I don't know what they thought of me. They just all stopped and looked at me, and I was like, oh crap. And then I thought, well, I'm bored as anything. I need a little whiskey. Everyone has to have a nip of whiskey when they go to Scotland, apparently. So, and I have Scottish family as well, because I'm multiracial. So I've got Scottish people in my family, Scottish clans. We have, clan tartans and stuff. So I know all about my Scottish history. But and my Irish history, and my Indian history, and the Scandinavian and the Jamaican. I know all of it. Like, I'm very, very interested in history, and my cultural identity is strong, even though it's multiple people I belong to. But yeah, so I walk in, and I walk straight up to the bar, confident, and it's like, can I have 2 shots of whiskey? And he's like, yeah, coming up. And then so I sit at the bar by myself, and I'm just, messing around on my phone, sipping my whiskey. And I didn't even put ice in it, so I'm drinking it straight, no chaser, no dilution of it, and everyone's just staring at me, and I'm thinking, why are they staring at me? Go back to your conversation. And I just think, oh my God, are they racist? What are they looking at? Like, but it wasn't, I mean, the ones who spoke to me weren't racist, obviously, but I don't know what the rest was thinking. But I don't know if the women were jealous because they were looking a bit rough with their like teeth missing. And I was like, damn, do the women punch, like up here, punch each other? Why is that woman's tooth missing? So anyway, I remember like noticing men getting closer, inching closer, closer, and I'm thinking, I think these people want to talk to me. They got that energy, like looking you up and down, like you look good, like can I talk to you? But they're not saying anything, but they're looking. They got that look in their eye. Multiple people, and I'm like, what is going on? Like I didn't think I was dressed that amazing, but I don't know. Maybe they were bored. I was bored. They want to talk to someone different. So then I look up and smile and just like, all right, and then they're like, oh, you're not from here. And I'm like, no, I'm from London. And then they're like, oh, what are you doing up here? And I was like, oh, I had to come up for some job training because the company, they have, stuff up here, and this training I needed was up here, and they were like, oh, okay, when are you going back? And I was like, I'm here for like one more night, and then I'll go the next night. And they were like, oh, okay. And I said, oh, is this not a tourist pub? Because when I walked in, I thought, because it was across the road from my hotel, that every pub around here was kind of touristy. I didn't mean to, is this a local pub? Because I don't want to intrude because I'm not a local. And they were like, no, no, you're welcome, you're welcome. I was like, okay, good, good. And then so I decided, like, I'll stay, till a couple hours because they seem nice now. I was a bit worried at first, but they seem okay. They're all right with me being there. I've been respectful, like, is it okay? Can I stay? And they're like, yeah, yeah. And, because in my mind, it's like, if this is a local pub, I don't want anyone to, like, who's racist or anything to want to hurt me or anything. Like, they might get drunk and attack you, like, so that can happen. Like, I'm really always nervous to go into certain areas, because if I don't know this area and it's a racist area and it's a racist pub, there is no telling what some sicko could do to you, woman or man, or say to you. And I'm a fighter. If you say anything racist to me, if you touch me, I'm going to knock you out. And even if you got like a lot of strength, like even if 7 of you jump on me, we're all dying tonight, because I'm gonna fight till the death. So I'm gonna go down fighting like my ancestors. I'm gonna be like calling on my ancestors, like, give me some strength, I need to fight them off. But yeah, so then I remember, what was it? Yeah, so someone bought me, I think they asked me, what do I drink? Do I want another whiskey? And I went, no, I'll have a white wine this time, actually, because I used to drink white wine only, but you got to be careful with that because this really makes me drunk really fast. Like three large glasses of white wine is like one whole bottle in England. The bottle sizes, the glass big tall bottles, and that will make me feel like I'm falling down a little bit for some reason, like a whole bottle of wine. So I used to not realize that tall glasses of 3 large glasses of white wine was like a whole bottle. So if I had 6, that was like 2 bottles. So I'm not thinking at the time when I used to drink, and it took me a while to get used to how much I can drink and still have my wits about me, still be not drunk. So I just said, no, I'll have a white wine if you don't mind. It's the same price. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. So then, because one person bought me a white wine, then another one, like the second I finish it, another person was like, here, have this. So it's like they're in a group kind of just interviewing me and then giving me drinks. And I'm like, oh no, like this is going to not end well because I'm getting too many drinks, and I know that I'm going past my limit. But I felt obligated to drink the drink because in my mind, well, I'd feel offended if I bought you a drink and you didn't drink it. However, I would ask first. I wouldn't just buy you a drink. So the first person asked. The second, third, fourth, fifth person just bought the drink and brought it over, like, oh, your glass is empty. Here's another and another. And I was like, wait a minute. Is someone trying to get me drunk here and carry me away? I was a bit nervous. But at the same time, I'm like, let me drink some water in between. Maybe I can handle it. But I was feeling really like woozy, like, but my hotel was right across the road. But that's not the point. I should have said, I'm really sorry. I can't drink that extra drink you gave me. I'm going to give you your money back because I didn't know you were going to, I should have been strong enough to say that. But this is when I was younger. They were older than me. I felt a little bit obligated. I'm in their pub. I felt like I'm on their turf, and I kind of could tell they were rough people. They were kind of like, the type of people who would have been possibly in gangs, been in prison. You could just tell by the tattoos they had. I recognized prison tattoos, and I was just like, I don't want to offend these people, you know. So just for my own safety, in my mind, just to play it safe, I'll drink it and I'll just stumble back across the road to my hotel after. So, and then I'll drink water and use the toilet a lot and whatever. So try and keep myself from, clear some of the alcohol from my body. So anyway, so they're just asking me questions and I'm saying, oh, I do have some Scottish, and I'm telling them the clans and they're like, oh, wow, okay. And then one person said, my name is Ronald MacDonald. And they all burst out laughing. And I went, no, it's not. And I said, where's your red hair and your yellow outfit, Ronald? And he was like, that's what they all say, but I don't own the McDonald's. I'm the original, and he's talking in this heavy Scottish accent, and I was laughing my head off, and everyone was like, yeah, he's Ronald McDonald. And I went, show me your driver's license, show me your ID. So he showed me, and I went, oh my god, you are Ronald McDonald. And I said, that is so funny to me. I didn't know why, but it was. And so me and Ronald McDonald started talking and becoming drinking buddies, like over, like I had to go back to London, but then he gave me his details and said, oh, next time you're in Edinburgh, you must stay with me. You must stay with me and my family and my kids. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. That would be great. I'll pay you guys. And he was like, no, you won't have to pay. And so I'm like, oh, okay, great. So then I waited a month or two, and then when I had some time off, I went up there. I asked first and said, okay, what's the situation? Where will I be staying? Because if I can just stay on my own in my hotel, I don't need to stay with you. I've got enough money. But if you want me to hang out with you and your family, I will. And then he's like, no, I've got a spare room. It's my only on used on weekends when my little boy comes to visit. He doesn't live with me, but his mum sends him to stay over like Saturdays, but like any other time it's free. And then on the Saturday you can sleep on the sofa if you're here, but like, it won't be a problem. And I was like, oh, that's good. You don't mind me being around your child? And he was like, no, I think you're a good person. I was like, well, I am, but you know, if you don't want me around your child, I'll just get my own hotel. And he was like, no, it's fine. I was like, well, what about his mum? Does his mum mind a stranger being around her kid? And he was like, don't worry about it. And I was like, all right. So then he was, funnily enough, he was a Sagittarius. And I've only met three Sagittariuses in my life. One from Tennessee recently, this one from Scotland, and another one in New Zealand. I don't know why I haven't met a load of Sagittariuses. I've met tons of Scorpios who is really difficult relationship. It's either love or hate, like my ex-husband. It's either heaven or hell. It's no in between. And then I've met loads of my star sign and tons of Geminis. Geminis are always wanting to be my best friend for some reason. What's the other one? Pisces. Like, it's weird that certain star signs are drawn to me. Aries. Let me think. Where is it? There's the whole list of 12 star signs, because I'm really into star signs because they do predict how someone can act. So the list of them is Capricorn. So from January, it's Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Yeah, so obviously if someone's on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, they'll have slightly different traits. And like, I'm a full Taurus because I'm not on the cusp, but my best friend is a Gemini Taurus and he's so different. There's parts of him that resemble me slightly, but then also if you have a moon sign that's different, that can make you react differently. So I have Taurus sun sign, which is like, I'm born, oh, hold on, I'm born, oh my god, I'm trying to take my cardigan off because I'm too hot. Hold on. Oh my god. Hold on. Ugh, there we go. 1 minute I'm too cold, then I'm too hot. Okay. Oh, and yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I'm a full Taurus. He's a Gemini Taurus. And people, what was I talking about again? Why did I bring this up? I was talking about Scotland. Never mind the star sign. Basically, as a Sagittarius, I'd never been around a Sagittarius before. So he was very tactless, which means he one minute he's really super nice, and then he can say something really rude and obnoxious, but call it a joke. And I noticed that the guy from Tennessee did that as well. And I'm like, why do? But yet the guy in New Zealand didn't do that. And so and the guy in New Zealand had a great life and a great family, but the guy in Scotland had a very difficult life, and he was an alcoholic, which I didn't find out about until pulled a knife on me. And then we started fighting, and then the police were called. I didn't call the police. Some stupid neighbor called the police because I was like, because the fights like sort of went out into the garden because I was throwing things at him because he had a knife. So I'm throwing everything in the room at him, because I'm furious that how dare you pull a knife on me? You asked me to come into your home, and then because it's like I didn't do something he said, something stupid, and I just said I'm not doing that. That's stupid. And then all of a sudden he's like, get out of my house. And I was like, no, I have nowhere to go. I didn't book a hotel. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm not leaving. I'll leave it in a few hours when the hotel's open, or even when the McDonald's opens, then I can sit in there at 6 a.m. and then book a hotel. Why are you doing this? But he was weird when he was sober. Even he was like, when he was drunk he was more compliant. That's the weird thing. Once he got the alcohol, this is the guy in Scotland, he was sometimes super generous, super nice, but as soon as he got sort of couldn't get the alcohol, either he'd run out of money, or like he would literally be in the pub 9 a.m. All day every day, like arrive in the morning 9 a.m. and then leave at night. Like he didn't work anymore because I think he was on welfare. We call it something different here, but like Americans will call it welfare. But the guy in Scotland was on our version, which is benefits. So he just wasted that money on alcohol. Then he had another friend who was a bit disabled, but he was a severe alcoholic too. And I didn't know these people. I'd never, like, I'd been around people who had been on drugs and stuff, but then I always got away from them once I realized. But this was different, like having to witness someone, like, because I didn't love or care about them. They were just people I didn't know, but it was so sad to see that their children are seeing them like this, or their family is seeing them like this, and you see them falling down drunk on the floor in the street, and you're just like trying to pick them up, and you're sad for them because it's embarrassing and pathetic, and you're like, they're like peeing their pants or shitting their pants, and you're like, oh god, like you're doing this every night. This is embarrassing. I feel so bad for you. Why wouldn't you change your life? Like, and and then when you try and talk to them about it and say, is there any help I can find for you? Like maybe I can look online and help you. And they get angry at you. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Mess your underpants every day, all day? How are you living in this poor hygiene, disgusting situation where you got tons of beer bottles all over your house? Why don't I mean, I was literally cleaning up these people's houses, picking up all the crap off the floor because I'm so OCD that I'm like, I can't even be in this house if it's not clean and tidy. So then I got into this weird situationship where I felt so bad for him. And then I actually took a job up in Scotland for a while, just a temporary job, a couple months, so that I could be closer to him to help him not be on the alcohol. But he'd been drinking it for so long, and he was older than me, but he'd been on it so long, there was no getting him off it. So I was really naive to think that my love and kindness for you as a human being, like not love as in romantic love, but just my kindness towards you will help you, love from one human being to another, caring about someone suffering. And it's weird because this Tennessee guy reminds me of that guy. Just the fact that they're both Sagittariuses, the fact that they both have gone through bad trauma. But the guy in Scotland didn't have as much trauma as the one in Tennessee. But it's weird. It's like they remind me of each other. They're like twins. Their behavior, it's really weird. And so when yeah, it's so strange. Like, it was like I couldn't understand how two people who are in a different country, different ages, were so alike, and that's how you know the star sign thing is true, that there is a weird similarity in certain star signs. There is a certain reaction, that you can expect from certain star signs. I've seen it, and people will stick up for certain star signs. Like, if two star signs are like drawn to each other, it won't matter how badly they behave. People will always defend them because their star signs match. It's weird. I understand it, but other people don't always understand it. But yeah, it was weird for me. Like I said, when I was up there in Scotland, and after being in that pub, the local pub. So this man, the Sagittarius in Scotland, he introduced me to his little boy, and I was like, and he was adorable. He was like 5 years old, little Scottish white kid, just too cute, too adorable. And he loved me because I was so kind. And I was like, "What football team do you support?" And he was like, "Hearts Midlothian." And I was like, "Really? Okay. Well, when I see anything with the Hearts logo, I'm gonna buy it for you." And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, anything you want." So we would go out shopping, and I saw these towels, and they were so cute. They were like, when you wrap the towel around your waist like a man would after you get out of the shower, it was like had a kilt pattern on it, so it looked like you were wrapping a kilt around your legs. It was funny. And then I got a kids one and it had the logo of the football team, and I went out of my way to buy it for the little boy, and he loved it. And because the little boy's mum was a rough alcoholic woman with no teeth, because she's always fighting because she's a drunkard, and so the little boy enjoyed being around a normal, kind, loving female energy. And even though he loved the dad very much, and the dad appeared to be nice to the little boy, but he was so weird with women because the mum and the dad had fallen out, couldn't get on. He kind of hated women, and so does the guy from Tennessee. He hates women because women have done horrible things to him, and he takes it out on the new nice people, and then pushes the good ones away. But then he'll go running into the arms of another abusive woman, and then be upset that he's been abused again. But yet he will ignore the good, kind person and not appreciate them. And the same thing was happening with the Scottish guy. So he's trying to use me to make the ex jealous. I'm not with him romantically, but the little boy is obviously telling his mum, "Oh, there's a woman around dad, and she's so nice, and she's so this." And so she's getting upset, like, "Who's this bitch?" There's been no woman before. Like, he's been a lonely drunk for years. How is there a woman around? And so she started getting a bit weird with me. I never met her in person, but she started phoning, and he'd say, "Do you want to talk to her?" And I'd be like, "Why would I want to talk to her?" Not to be rude, just why would she want to talk to me? Who does she think I am? Like, okay, I'll talk to her, and I'd be like, "Hello, how are you?" And she'd be like, "Oh, he's not a good, boyfriend, or he's not a good husband. He's not the kind of person you want to spend your life with." And I'm confused, like, who's spending their life with anyone? I'm just a visitor from London. He said we're like drinking buddies, and he said I could stay here. I'm not trying to be in anyone's life like that. I'm. Is he telling you this? And she was like, "Oh, never mind." And I was like, "No, seriously. If he's telling you that, that is a lie." When did he say I was here last? And she said some dates when I wasn't even in Scotland. And I went, "You see, he's trying to make you jealous. I wasn't even in Scotland, and I can prove I was down in London and on those dates. I'm here now, and I'll meet you face to face if you want to chat. I don't mean you any harm. I hope you don't mean me any harm." But it was really weird. And so I remember people telling me, like, from the pub, like, "Oh God, oh, his ex-missus, she's crazy. She will knock out a man. She's got no teeth because she's always fighting." And I was like, they were like, "Don't fight her." And I went, "Listen, I will knock her out. And if she's strong and I'm strong, then we're dying tonight. I don't care. However, I do not want to fight over him. He's not worth fighting over." no offense, but he's not the person I want to spend my life with. I was just taking up his offer, and to stay and hang out with him, and he seemed a bit lonely and sad, and I thought I was doing a good thing by hanging out with someone who was bored and lonely. I'm just wanting to make someone smile, but now it's become a whole weird thing. So now the whole pub thinks that there's something going on with me and this guy when it's not, because I'm staying with him, but I'm staying in the spare room. And then when his kid comes over, I sleep on the sofa. So I was working and giving money, towards bills or whatever. But then when we took the little boy to school, and the little boy asked to hold my hand, and that's what little kids do when we got to the edge of the road. He said, "Oh, I'm not allowed to cross the road without an adult holding my hand," because he's only 5, he's little. And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, you're standing here with me, so when I tell you it's safe, we're going to cross together, okay?" And he's like, "No, I have to hold your hand." And I went, "Oh, okay, yeah, if you want." And then he held my hand. And then some woman who knew the mum, because we're near the school, I said I would drop him off at the school so the dad could sleep. And to me, it wasn't a big deal. I'm doing a favor. I'm, a kind person. I'll protect him, take him to the school. And then some other people, parents or, other women who knew his mum, the Sagittarius's ex, started telling her, "Oh my God, I saw this woman, this new woman's walking your kid to school. There must be something going on. Why would she walk your kid to school? Is she trying to replace you?" How could I replace this woman? The little boy lives with her. He's only with the dad once a week. What are you talking about? So I had no idea this was going on until suddenly people are telling me, like, "Oh, she wants to fight you. Be careful." I said, "I don't even know what the bitch looks like. Like, you better show me a picture of this." And they were like, "Well, she's big and fat and she's got no teeth." I was like, "What is she, a troll from like Middle Earth? What is this?" So I'm getting not nervous but annoyed now that what should be an enjoyable time in Scotland has now become so much drama. Potentially, I'm potentially in danger, apparently. Like, what the hell? So I'm thinking, okay, why is anyone so bothered that I'm trying to be nice to this little boy? I'll just, mind my own business. And so I said to the dad, I don't want to kind of take him to school without you there. At least if you're there, we're walking together. But then they're getting upset because I'm walking with you, even though we're not holding hands, we're not a couple, we're just two human beings, and we happen to be a man and a woman. It's very strange. I never touched him. I never wanted to touch him, you know. And then, like I said, he started off okay, but then all of a sudden, I think he was trying to hide how much he drank from me at the beginning, and he was letting the distraction of me being there make him happy because I was cooking and taking them out and buying them dinner outside, doing stuff they wouldn't normally do, trying to do fun stuff. So I'm living like a tourist, and they live up there, but I'm like still in the tourist headspace, like, let's go out to eat, let's go to do something, let's go to the beach, let's go on the boat, and then so I'm trying to keep everything fun and happy. But then he couldn't keep the mask on anymore, and that's how I know he had a personality disorder as well as the alcohol. Same as the guy in Tennessee. It's not just his trauma that makes him act that way. It's not just the alcohol. It is a genuine personality disorder that was probably there before the alcohol, and they probably used the alcohol to, because the personality disorder made it hard for them to process their grief and trauma because of the way narcissistic personality disorder is. It forces them to feel ashamed all the time and unworthy, and they can't connect to positive emotions. And then obviously, even though grief is a negative emotion, it's an overwhelming one, it's a difficult one. So even if they connect to negative emotions, it's usually projected onto someone else, meaning they want to do negative things to others to feel better inside. It makes them feel better when you're in pain or you're upset with them. Like, they want any reaction from you, even if it's a negative one. So like I said, he pulled a knife on me for no reason, when because I said, like, that's stupid or something like that, even though he said much worse to me swearing all the time, calling people horrible names, and then when you get upset, he'll say, "I'm only joking," and then you're like, "Huh, really?" And then you try and overlook it. But then, if you're a person like me who gets fed up of like letting someone overstep your boundaries, even if you realize that, well, they've got issues, try and relax, I don't suffer fools gladly, and I don't tolerate disrespect quickly, easily, or at all. And I have to really care about you or feel sorry for you to let you keep getting away with stuff. But it won't be long before I've come raging back, and all that resentment that was building up from way back, when I'm letting you get away with it, my brain is taking notes like, okay, they've done it again and again. That's the 10th time. This is it. I'm roaring back. I'm cussing you out. If you hit me, I'm hitting you back. Like, no one could hit me. So he never hit me, but him drawing a knife on me was really freaky. Like, it didn't make sense. Oh, Scott, sorry. And because he told me, uh, no, when I went into wash some clothes for him, I was doing a lot of favors, and I'm very clean, and I wanted to make sure the house stayed tidy while I was there. So I was cleaning up and making sure he didn't, leave loads of empty alcohol containers everywhere, and I was making the house normal, trying to help him, and then I went to take some pillowcases off the pillow. I lift up the pillow. There's a great big kitchen knife under the pillow, like a butcher's knife, a big long one. And I went, whoa, why is this under here? Is this an accident? What is this doing here? Who sleeps with a knife under their pillow? But because we don't have weapons here, like we're not legally allowed to carry guns in England. So anyone who has a gun in England is a criminal type, like a drug addict or a gang member, and it's really hard for them to get the gun, and the bullets is really expensive, so not a lot of people have it. And if they do, like, if anyone has a gun legally, they have to be like a hunter and have a license, and the police have to know why they have the gun and stuff like that. uh so he said, when I said, "Why is this knife under your pillow? Do you want me to put it back in the kitchen?" And he's like, "No, that's my security. There's If someone breaks in and I'm in my bed, I need the knife to threaten them to get back out." And I went, "Oh, I've never felt so threatened at the thought of a burglar that I had a knife anywhere other than the kitchen drawer." Because to me, I don't know why, I've never had a fear of death in regards to when I'm in my house. Once I lock all my doors, I felt safe. I mean, I don't know why I never had that fear that a burglar's going to come in and get me, because I never lived in an area where there were tons of burglaries. And some people sleep with their windows open, ground floor windows, and no one would dare touch the window and come in. Like, so for me, it was really weird that I was like, "How bad is this area you live in?" And he was like, "Yeah, there's some bad people in this area." And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know that. I wish I got a hotel now." But so then I said, "Okay, so you want me to leave the giant knife under your pillow?" "Yes," he said. I said, "Okay." So then when I go into the room that I was staying in, I didn't see a knife under my pillow. So I'm thinking, well, what happens if they come into this room when they break in? So I'm like, "Where's my knife? I need a knife." But he was like, "No, no, you don't get a knife." I'm like, "Oh, fine. You better be ready to fight off these burglars then." But so then I noticed that he got a bit paranoid when I found the knife for some reason, as though I'm going to use it on him, which I thought was weird because I've been there a few weeks. I hadn't done anything, but that's another thing that annoys me about Sagittarius is they're very paranoid, and narcissists are very paranoid. So like I said, the Sagittarius I met in New Zealand had a good life, wasn't a narcissist, wasn't an alcoholic, and he was very fun, and everyone liked him. But the weird thing with Saggies is everyone does want to like them, but because they're so rude and tactless and obnoxious, only some people will tolerate them. And that's, people, or they'll pretend to be nice for a bit and people will be drawn to them, but then people will eventually leave, excuse me, or anyone who stays with them will just stay with them miserable. And then they'll probably discard the person anyway because they'll get bored of abusing them. It's really sad. Hold on. Oh, my poor voice is so saw, because I was singing and having fun at this party before. He was screaming, laughing, and just singing karaoke. And oh, now my voice is nearly gone. But yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So Ronald McDonald in Scotland, this person, drinking buddy who I was trying to just help, who was an alcoholic. He started to. I noticed him drinking a lot more, and I thought, oh, I never noticed you drinking in the mornings. And I said, do you always drink this early? And he was like, yeah, but when you were here, I didn't feel like drinking because it was like different having someone living here, and it was distracting me from wanting to drink because you were, taking me out all the time and taking me and my son to like fun days out. But after, say, a few weeks, he just got back into his old routine, or what do you call it? The withdrawal was coming back, obviously, and he wanted to get rid of it, I guess, get rid of the shakes, get rid of the withdrawal, the pain, wherever he was feeling. So he started to drink a lot more. And at first I was like, okay, well, I didn't know how to react, to be honest, at first. I thought, well, you know, it's not my business, but at the same time, I feel bad, like that this is the case. And I thought I didn't know it was something he'd been doing for years. I didn't want to ask too many questions at first. Um, but then eventually, he would bring other friends over who were like, just got out of prison, and they seem like alcoholics too. And so I'm sitting in a room full of men who are all alcoholics. There's a knife under the cushion, because I found another knife under the sofa cushion, not in a place that could stab you in the leg when you sit down, but it was flat and under a big cushion, the main cushion. And I was like, what on earth? Like, it was under the big part that made the sofa, not a little cushion, a detachable thing. So you didn't notice the knife was there unless you lifted the big, you know, part that made the sofa. And I was like, oh no, like, why are there just knives hidden all over this place? So I was like, I don't want to be in this room full of drunks who, what if they attack me sexually? What if they find a knife and stab me? Like, so I was getting nervous, like, I need to book a hotel, like, and just work from the hotel. And then, so when I was there, it did get a little weird where they were looking at me like they fancied me and stuff. And I was like, oh no, like, this is not good. And so I did kind of want to leave, and then one of the guys did chat me up and was like in private in the kitchen and was like, hey, I really like you and stuff. And he was a nice looking guy. He was a Leo, and I kind of was drawn to Leos. And if you're a Leo Virgo, oh well, gosh, I'll have a hard time getting away from you. But I'll still get away from you if you annoy me or abuse me. But it's like I'm always fall in love with them really quickly. But he was a Leo, so I was drawn to him. But then he tried to kiss me, and I pulled away, and he got angry. And then I was like, well, I heard you were married, so I didn't know what was going on. And he was like, oh, I'm engaged to be married. And I went, yeah, but the marriage is like next week. I mean, I don't want to interfere with that. And he's like, oh, you don't even know her, who cares? Like, aren't you going back to London soon? Like, it doesn't even matter, doesn't count. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm trying to say, okay, just go, calm down, don't worry about it. I wasn't rejecting you, I was just confused. Like, I didn't want to be disrespectful. And so then he got annoyed because I didn't want to do anything or kiss him or whatever. And then he told some lies to the other one, the one who lives there, and Ronnie. And then I was like, oh no, like, what's gonna happen? Because I'm all alone, and he's acting weird. So he started acting weird, and I think he said something like, you should kiss my friend, he asked for a kiss, what's the big deal? And that's when I said, that's stupid, you're stupid. That, what do you mean, what's the big deal? I don't have to kiss anyone if I don't want to. I like, why are you making this a big deal? He's getting married. Why don't you keep it in your pants? Keep your mouth to yourself and to your wife, your future wife. Like, show some respect to the woman. or leave her alone. Like, why would you marry someone and then you're cheating on them, you know? But oh, she can't cheat on you, I bet. And so we're arguing a little bit. And then he pulls out the sofa knife and he's like, get out of my house. And I'm like, shut up, I'm not going anywhere. I said, put the knife down as if you're going to do anything. And then he's like, no, I mean it, get out. He called me stupid and he's drunk. And I'm like, so the other guys are like not even backing me up. And I'm annoyed now. So I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. And I know you're not going to stab me. So put the knife down. You look dumb. You look stupid. And so I said stupid again. And then he ran at me with the knife, which kind of made me jump, like just in case he tripped and the knife went into me because he's drunk. Even though he was a little person, like quite short, like maybe I don't know, 5'6", but I was like 6 foot. So that's why I wasn't really scared of him. But then I was worried because if a drunk person trips and stumbles, even if a sober person trips and stumbles or lunges at you with a knife, you have to be careful. So I kind of had quicker reactions, obviously, and I jumped out the way when he's running towards me and I like slammed the door, shut so he couldn't, so the door's between us, but the door had glass in it so I could see him. And he's trying to pull the door open. I'm trying to keep the door shut and I'm wondering, what should I do? So I'm in the kitchen, I'm in between the kitchen and the back door to the garden. And so I'm thinking, there's a frying pan on the stove. Shall I grab the frying pan and defend myself or shall I just run outside? So I thought, well, even if I grab the frying pan, he might still hurt me. I need to just get outside. But I'm forgetting my bag's in there, my money's in there, my clothes are in there, my suitcase is in there, my passport, an ID, everything I need, my phone is in that house. And so I go outside thinking, I just need to get away and be safe. And then if I needed neighbours' help, I could tell them, call the police or help me get my bag. But I'm only thinking, like, after I got outside, like, oh, my belongings, my belongings. So then he, uh, when I let go of the door and run outside, I leave the back door open so he can see me in the garden, but he's still got the knife in his hand. And I said, I just want my stuff and I will leave because you're crazy. And then he's like, oh, you're not getting your stuff. Come back in the morning. And I went, excuse me? I'm not going to sleep in the garden. And he's like, oh, yeah, you could sleep in the garden. And I was like, oh, my God, I said, no, I'm going to get a taxi and get a night coach or a hotel. Not night coach because I didn't have to go back to London. But I mean, I could have literally gone back to London if I wanted to, but I had the job thing, so I didn't want to mess it up. It was temporary anyway. I could have just left, but so then I was like, if I couldn't get a hotel, I could have just slept in the coach station, which was open all night. Just literally slept half. I probably couldn't have slept. I would have stayed up all night because of nervousness. But yeah. So then he was like, he didn't shut the door, but he's standing there blocking the way, like he's enjoying this crap. And so I remember being so angry that he wouldn't let me get my bag, and I'm just standing there in this cold garden. But the garden had a fence gate, so I could have left the garden. I didn't have to go through him to get out, but my belongings are in there. Who's going to leave their money, their phone? And where am I going to go while I'm waiting for day to break or dawn to come or the sun to come up? Because it's like 5 a.m. So where am I supposed to go? I mean, that's ridiculous. And it was winter and it's freezing up in Scotland more than London. So, and I don't have a coat. My coat's inside. I'm only in like a shirt and jeans. So he's enjoying this and he won't put the knife down. He won't be reasonable. None of the other people are helping. So I picked up what we call a food waste bin, which is not a big bin. It's like a little, I don't know, 2 foot tall plastic container that we put like, I don't know, potato peelings and vegetable peelings or banana peel, anything that's organic that you can throw in the compost, you can put in this bin, like for recycling or something. So I pick up the empty bucket. It looks like a bucket, that's right, but it's got a lid. And I pick it up and I fling it as hard as I can, hoping it will smash him in the face and like knock him startle him and I can run and get the knife. And then he saw it coming, so he shut the door and it smashed on the door really loud and it woke up all the neighbors because it was like bang, and then it sort of splintered. And then everyone's looking out their window like, shit, what was that? And then obviously the neighbors are watching out their window now, seeing him with a knife and me in the garden, and I've just thrown this thing that they didn't see me throw, but I'm there, and they've called because he's got a knife. They didn't know what was going on, so, and they know he's crazy, but they know he lives there and I don't. So I wasn't sure why they called the police, if it was to protect me or just to get rid of me, or if they were worried about him with the knife, or if they thought he was defending himself from me with the knife, because I didn't live there and they'd never seen me before. But I'd been staying there, but I'd never seen any of the neighbors. I would just come and go, come and go. If they had seen me, I didn't know if they saw me. I didn't know what they looked like. They were all just, I never saw them. So anyway, so then the police arrive and they were a bunch of assholes, racist dickheads as usual. So I'm not white, obviously. I'm multiracial. They're all white Scottish. And then he's pretending that, I needed a knife. Look at the size of her. Look at the size of me. She wouldn't leave my house. And I said, excuse me, he invited me to come and stay here. He started arguing. He's an alcoholic. I had no problem leaving in a couple hours. He could have let me stay here for 1 hour and then the buses would have started running and I would have got the bus out of here. Or he could have let me get my money and my belongings and get a taxi to the coach station, but he didn't want to do that. And ask the other drunks in there, I didn't do anything. So then, even though I'm telling the truth and I've got proof that he invited me there, I got text messages, I got phone, calls showing he's phoned me, I've got voicemails, but one of the police, they were both males. One was nice, one was an asshole, clearly racist. So then I said, can you just get my bag, please? And he's like, well, you don't live here. I said, I know that. I just told you that. I'm going to leave. How can I leave without my bag? Isn't that stealing? If he keeps my... I said, excuse me, he just attacked... He ran at me with a knife. Isn't that a crime? He threatened me with a knife and he ran at me with the knife and could have stabbed me. And the other one said, yeah, that is a crime. Do you want to make a report? And I said, no, I just want to leave. I should make a report, but I don't want to have to come back here for the court date. And then some racist judge lets him off. Like, just let me leave. So then the nicer one's explaining to the racist one, like, just get a bag. Like, what's the big deal? But he just don't want to do anything that will help me. The racist one, you could tell either he hated women or brown people or both, but he was not in the mood to help me. He's a piece of crap. And that is common in our police here, common all around the world, the racism in the police. And so eventually the nice one got my bags and said, how are you going to get to the coach station? It's really far. And I said, do you have any taxi numbers? And he was like, no. And I said, and then my phone was dead, so I couldn't ring anyone. And I said, oh, please, can you look up a taxi number? And then he was trying to look up one, but none of them were available. They didn't work all night, like these taxis, for some weird reason. Like, I don't know, people weren't willing to be taxis at 5 a.m. in that city for some reason. In London, you can get a taxi all night, 24 hours, but it's a different set of people. So anyway, so the nice police officer took pity on me and said, I will give you a lift. And so I had to get in the car with the racist one and the nice one, and I'm in the back in the cage area, and I'm feeling embarrassed. Like, if anyone sees me get out of this bloody police car, I'm going to be so embarrassed because I haven't done anything. But I said, oh, I'm a bit embarrassed to get in your car because I haven't done anything. And he was like, no, well, you'll be there in 5 minutes in the car, whereas if you walk, it'll be like half an hour. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, so he dropped me off. And he said, but you're not going to come back and get revenge now, are you? And I went, no, officer. Oh, I would never. And because he could tell in my eye that I'm going to avenge this night. Don't you worry. But he's like, you're going to go home to London, aren't you? And if you come back to Edinburgh, you're not going to get revenge. And me and him are jokingly he knows I'm just I got this sarcastic Joker smile on my face, no, officer, of course not. And the other racist one is just so annoyed that his colleague is getting on with me. It's so pathetic. Racists are such cowards and idiots. It's like, go suck a diseased D-I-C-K. Anyway, but yeah, so that was weird situation. But guess what happened? I had to stay all night in, no, not all night, stay a couple hours in the coach station until hotels were taking bookings, and that was annoying. There was a toilet though, at least, thank God, but I couldn't fall asleep. I was exhausted, but I was scared to fall asleep in case someone robbed me or hurt me. So I'm like, you know, on edge, on edge. There's cameras, but it's empty. There's no staff. Anyone could have come in there. And so I'm just sitting on like a regular seat, like in a sort of train station seat, but it's a coach station. But it was still very stressful. As a female, I didn't feel safe, and I didn't want to sleep in the toilet. So anyway, so finally I get a booking for a hotel, but it's only for 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks I had to rebook hotel. And eventually I thought, this isn't worth staying up here for this job, because I'm wasting money on hotels now, and the money I'm earning is not, I'm not making a profit. And then I wasn't having fun anymore because it was boring after a while, because it's not London. It's like you can have fun there for 2 weeks, but the majority of the fun is drinking. And I didn't find that fun to drink every night. I didn't want to be drunk every night and hungover every morning. But that was the only way people had fun up there. A lot of them are functioning alcoholics up there, where they work and drink and work and drink. And that's really not my thing. I cannot do that. Like I remember one of them said, "Oh, do you know how you avoid a hangover? You just keep drinking. When you wake up, you just keep drinking, and then you'll never be hungover." And I was like, that's really sad. Like, I do not envy your life. Like, I feel so sorry for you and your kids and your wife. And oh dear, like, I feel sad for these people. Like, it was, really hard to see so many people under the influence of alcohol and they're at work. It was worrying. I'm like, so you're going to drive that Royal Mail, parcel van, and I know you've been drinking. Like, so there's loads of drink drivers up there. I was surprised people weren't getting run over left, right, and centre. And there was a lot of unprotected sex as well. People just constantly sleeping with tourists and strangers, and I was like, yuck, like, why are you not even protecting yourself? Like, because I'm no saint. I'm not saying that in the past when I was younger, when I, you know, left my ex-husband and I was still very young, because I got married so young at like 18, 19. And then for me, like, I was still young and wanting to have fun and stuff. But then it really was the alcohol that made me take risks with my life, that luckily nothing bad happened or nothing bad was passed to me. But it's just weird how now I would never do that. But it's just sad how when people don't care about themselves, they'll self trash and allow anything to happen to themselves. Or sometimes people are just too lazy to protect themselves, which is even worse. Or out of boredom, they'll take risks that could have terrible consequences. Like there was a man who killed a woman because she had HIV, even though some man could have gave it to her. Like maybe she didn't know she had it. And then when he found out he had it, but how did he know he didn't give it to her? And this was in America. And so yeah, it's really weird. Like people say, like, oh, if someone gives me a disease, I'm going to beat them up. Well, why don't you protect yourself and stop being a lazy idiot? You're blaming other people for stuff you should be doing. Like men will blame women for getting pregnant as if they didn't choose not to use protection. Oh, well, she said she was using protection. Well, maybe she was tricking you. Like think for yourself, protect yourself. It's really sad. So anyway, the reason I was bringing up this man in Scotland, the story, is because I used to feel still guilty. I still felt guilty as if I was abandoning someone who needed my help. This is a man who pulled a knife on me. This is a man who mistreated me. And the same weird feeling I had with him, that I'm abandoning someone I should be saving. I had that same weird feeling with this guy from Tennessee who recently was mistreating me, and I've decided to walk away, not because I don't care to help him, but because he's, spitting my kindness back in my face. And it's like, well, it's your loss, At the end of the day, you can go and find someone in your local area to mistreat, because I'm not the one, the two, nor the three. You're not going to mistreat me. And because if I'm just a friend in another country and we just talk on the phone, how have you got so much energy to mistreat me and I'm not even in front of you? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm bugging you, knocking on your door, stalking you. I'm just trying to be there, and you go out of your way to say nasty things and be nasty, and it's just so frustrating. And the thing with narcs is that everything they want to do, you have to accept it. Any horrible thing they want to say to you, you can't get upset. You've got to be unbothered. You've got to allow it, even though they know they're saying the most horrible things to you. Because then they'll tell other people, oh my God, she let me say the most terrible things to her. And then I just threw her away at the end. And it's like, you can't throw me away. I'm not trash. I was never your girl in the first place. I was just trying to be a good Samaritan, a good human being to another lost soul in this world. I'm broken, you're broken. We had different types of brokenness, different degrees of pain and suffering. Yours was a different, more severe grief and suffering related to deaths in your family, which was terrible. And I was really sympathetic about that and compassionate about that. But he still didn't appreciate any of that loyalty, compassion, and kindness, but yet he'll run into the arms of some skank who will feed his addiction and steal from him and use him and give him STDs. And I'm not trying to be his romantic partner. I was just advising him, be careful. You've been hurt before, and yet you are doing the same mistake, and you know it, but you're bored. But then instead of talking to me and getting through your problems and getting some counseling or going to Alcoholics Anonymous to reduce your drinking, you're not doing anything to help your life. And that's sad, because why are you bothering to wake up every day then? If like I know that sounds horrible, right? But if waking up, right, if I had an addiction like alcohol or drugs, and every day I just chose to ignore help that people trying to give me and just poison myself every day, I'd rather not live. Sorry, my voice is really going, like, because I was at a party screaming and laughing earlier. Sorry, I'm gonna have to stop soon because my voice is literally going. Oh, yeah. So to me, it's really weird how why would you even want to keep living if your living situation is so pointless? Like, if you truly don't want to die, stop poisoning your body. Like, why live half a life? What's the point of that? Like, why not at least try and get off the alcohol and use the pain medication for the pain you have? Because the person from Tennessee said they have some other pains from a car wreck that was caused by the alcohol. He said that he was drink driving and hit a tree at 80 miles an hour. So if you weren't drink driving and on terrible, like letting yourself be an alcoholic, that wouldn't have happened to you. Now, I'm not trying to blame him. I'm not trying to shame him. I'm just speaking facts. And if you're listening, I'm sorry if you're angry at me speaking about this, but I'm going to speak whatever is on my heart. And it hurts me that you won't take the risk to improve your life, but you'll take the risk to ruin it. Now, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you take the risk to go through the withdrawal, to take the pain medication? Why use the alcohol as a pain reliever when it's going to cause so much more damage to you? Your liver's going to get cirrhosis. Your body's going to is already dependent on it. You're weakening your organs. Like, there is so much you could be doing to help yourself, but you don't care about yourself. So if you don't care about yourself, why even keep going? And I'm not, it's like, it sounds horrible, like I'm telling him to jump off a bridge, and I'm not. What I mean is, if it was me, and I know you're not me, but if it was me and all I woke up for is to drink and poison myself, what is the point of going on? I wouldn't want to go on if that was my life. I wouldn't want it. Drinking myself to death, mistreating good people, only hanging out with scummy skanks who want to use you and feed your addiction, and opportunists to keep you weak, and then when you don't do what they say, then they're going to want to hurt you. They're going to take advantage of the fact that you're not in your right mind most of the time, like because of the alcohol. You weaken yourself, and then you put yourself in danger, and then you wonder why these bad things are happening to you. A lot of it is you putting yourself in these bad situations, whether willingly or unwillingly, but these are the facts. And I just feel bad for people not taking the risk to improve their life, because it takes hard work to improve your life. It takes no effort to destroy it. you know you can sit back and let your life crumble. You can self-sabotage, you can self-destruct. That doesn't take a lot of effort to poison yourself. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to save yourself. And you know it's just real sad. Like, I mean, I feel like I have nothing to lose, no kids, not a lot of family, just dysfunctional family. But even if my only purpose to wake up every day is to help other human beings, is to show kindness to other human beings, I think that's a pretty good reason to wake up. Even if I felt so depressed that I don't want to wake up for myself, because I don't want to be here in this horrible world most days. But okay, if the only purpose I can find to wake up is that my words can give comfort to someone else, I can reach out and save someone else. Even if that's the only reason I can find to keep going, that is better than what most people will choose. People choose to be in a low vibration, to go out and self trash and fill themselves with drugs and alcohol. And yeah, I understand you're trying to escape pain, but there are other things that could help take that pain away, like counseling and support groups, many of which are free, that you could easily access the internet and find and get true support. But the people who don't want to get help and support, a lot of them, because of their trauma, have become broken too far, and their personality has become broken and turned into a disorder. So usually people who stay crying the victim, oh, I'm the victim, everything always happens to me. Yeah, that's true. Some people do have a lot of horrible things happen to them, and they didn't deserve it, and they didn't, invite it onto them. But what are you going to do about it is what you need to look at. I've had terrible things happen to me, but and like I said, many days I didn't want to wake up. I wanted my heart to stop so I didn't have to be here. And but then once I found my strength again and prayed for strength, then I remembered that, I can, I can make a way through. If I can't find a way, I'll make one, you know, and that's how you have to see it, that you have to go to get through things, you have to go through it. To get through it, you have to go through it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people who just give up on themselves, give up on life. And I feel so bad for those people, because I know that feeling. I know that terrible, depressed feeling that you can't go on. I've had it many times in my life, but I'm still here because by the grace of God, He said, no, get up. I will give you the strength to get through it. Even if I can't change your destiny or take away what the plan is, what the life plan that is set ahead for you, I will give you the strength to get through it, you know, and protect you where I can, because a lot of people, they don't realize that some things that we go through are destined to happen. We can't change it. We can only control our reaction to it because we have free will. Like the destined thing is going to happen regardless, good or bad, no matter how much we might fall off our path and take a detour, and that somehow destiny and fate is going to push you, whether it's through negative events or positive events, back to where you need to be at that time and that day to experience that thing or cross that person's path, for good or for bad. So people will come across us just to teach us lessons, and that's part of our destiny. So even the skank that comes towards you, who seems nice in the beginning, who turns out to be a maniac at the end, if you don't react to that strongly and pull yourself out of it with self-respect, dignity, keep your integrity intact, obviously, yes, if you've been knocked down, emotionally, physically, it's gonna take a while to get back on your feet. But once you do, it is your choice how you decide to go forward, how you decide to, fight back, because many times I've been knocked down by life, but I always got back up. And I'm so proud that I did. And I'm so grateful for the strength that God gave me when I prayed for that strength. He gave it to me. And I recognize that, and even though we would love to pray to God and Him just come down in a white robe and pick us up and fly away with us to a magic rainbow land, but it doesn't work that way, sadly. This world, this low vibrational earth, is an earth school where we chose to come here to learn very difficult, harsh lessons, and that is why we should fight to save ourselves from ourselves. If the pain has caused us to self-destruct, then we have to fight against that. We have to find the root cause of the pain and find a way to cope. Because if you're going to wake up every day, at least make it worthwhile. But if you're just waking up every day to poison yourself or abuse others, what is the point? Because then you're just going to, if you live till 100, are you seriously going to go from age 28 or age 19 or whatever age you are, age 30, whatever, all the way up until 100 and not change, not improve, not try and be better? So why are you here? You might as well take yourself out of here. And I know that sounds horrible, but if I was a monster hurting people all the time, what is my purpose here? I mean, on one hand, it's like you think, well, if we did choose to come down here, you know, and we've chosen the good and the bad in our life, then even the bad people apparently have a role to play, whether they chose it or not. If you look at it like I write a script for a play and I've got 12 characters and I need people to be the characters, right? So I need a villain, I need a drug dealer, I need a bus driver, I need kids to play the school children, I need someone to be the man, the wife and the husband, the king and the queen, the witch and the wizard. You know, since like people who've had near-death experiences have said, we choose our lives. It's been shown to me through my psychic gift that we choose our lives. I find it so hard to comprehend, but this is what I've been shown. I'm just passing on the message. I'm not disrespecting the message by finding it hard to believe. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, like, it is hard to comprehend, but the way they explain it is a bit like how I just explained it, how we all have a soul tribe, a soul group who we, in our real home in the spirit world, where we came from before we came here, where we're energetic light beings, we discussed and arranged with our soul group that, okay, you will be my husband when I come down to this life. I'm going to meet you at this point in my life. At the first 20 years of my life are going to be really hard with abuse and violence, but then I'm going to get away from that and have 10 years of good, but then 10 years of bad. Then this is going to happen. Then that pain is going to push me to do something good. I'm going to turn that pain into power. this has all apparently been preordained, predestined, discussed. So even the people who hurt you down here are apparently supposed to do these things. So maybe, that's the messed up thing. All, like when I think about it, it's hard to comprehend because I'm like, well, why would I choose so much harshness, or why would anyone choose so much pain and to have to endure so much? And why? I don't understand. But this is what they say, and I can't disprove or prove, but I try to not question what's been shown to me and what's been said by others who've had near death experiences and gone to spirit realm and been told things and shown things, and too many people are saying the same thing, so it's got to be true to some extent, because different people in different countries I've spoken to who have never met are saying the same thing. So yeah, I definitely do believe, we've agreed to certain things, but it is hard. And but my voice is going now. I'm going to have to stop the video. But I wish everyone love and light, peace and protection. God bless everyone. And if you like any of my videos, please like, share and subscribe. And I hope you'll have a great day, evening or night, wherever you are in the world. So I'm going to go now. Bye for now.